Everybody, it's Glenn, and I have to tell you, I am furious right now. I'm about to turn green and burst out of my purple pants. My hands are literally shaking. I've just tried to go shopping at Toys R Us, and I go in, I'm snaking around the kind of aisle at the entrance that I'm sure you're all familiar with, when a member of staff chases me down, shouting, excuse me, sir, excuse me, sir." I stop and turn around and say, "Yes?" And he says to me, "Sir, you're going to have to leave your bag at customer service." And I said, "Why?" He said, "Oh, it's a new policy now. We ask all customers to leave their bags at customer service." Just as he's explaining this to me, this lady who came in behind me walks past and she says, "Do I need to leave my bag at customer service?" Now, her bag is bigger than mine, and he says to her, "Oh, no, madam, you can go on into the shop." So she's off on her way merrily shopping, while I'm stood there being profiled as a criminal. And I say to him, "Why do I have to leave my bag at customer service when that lady with a bigger bag than mine gets to shop merrily around Toys R Us?" And he says to me, "Well, sir, women carry bags." I mean, what is this, the Dark Ages? A lot of men today carry bags. I'm a modern man. You can call me a metrosexual, whatever you want to call me. I carry a bag for utility. This is my bag, my man bag. It's not huge, as you can see. It's, a little bit bigger than my head. What do I have in my bag? I have my wallet. I have an umbrella. I have my sunglasses. I have earplugs that I just picked up today because I have trouble sleeping. Earphones. I have an empty bottle, never litter, always recycle. Anyway, all of this stuff is too big for me to carry around in my pocket. I carry a bag for utility, as many women do. So I say to this member of staff, "Can I speak to a manager, please?" So he takes me to customer service. I'm waiting there for the manager to come. Of course, they leave me hanging. The manager's probably updating his Facebook status in the office, whatever they do. Eventually he comes and I explain to him, why am I being asked to leave my bag when a woman who has a bigger bag than I do gets to shop around Toys R Us with the benefit of her bag? And he pretty much explains the same thing to me, which just left me appalled. And I tried not to be too angry because I actually wanted to make a point to this guy and not just have him dismiss me as some kind of angry lunatic customer. I wanted him to kind of understand that if you're going to have a security policy, then you need to roll it out across everybody. It needs to be exercised against everybody entering the store. If you don't exercise it against everybody entering the store, then you're going to create space for people like me to say, well, why am I being profiled as a criminal when that person isn't being profiled as a criminal? So I explained this to him, and I think basically the manager just kind of wants to be out of this situation of having to talk to me. So he says to me, "Well, actually looking at your bag, it is small enough that, you can shop with your bag." So while he's explaining this to me, the guy who wanted me to leave my bag says to a teenager who comes in, "Excuse me, you need to leave your bag." Well, his bag, it's the tiniest bag, seriously, I'm not exaggerating, you ever did see. It's like this big, one of those bags where you could literally fit your wallet or a packet of cigarettes inside it. Like, Toys R Us probably don't sell anything that's small enough for this kid to even shoplift anyway and fit inside that bag. So then I point that out to this guy. And then he just kind of fumbles the whole thing, and, he does the thing that customer service people that I hate. He says, "Oh, I'm sorry you feel this way," which is a kind of way of apologizing to you without actually apologizing. They're saying sorry, but sorry you feel this way, i.e. they're not doing anything wrong, I'm incorrect in the way I'm acting, reacting to what they're doing. So anyway, he ultimately says to me, "Well, we're happy for you to shop here with your bag." And then, I say, "Well, I'm sorry, I'm not shopping here." And he's kind of like, "Oh, well, okay, it's up to you." But there's a serious point to this now in terms of me saying I'm not going to shop at Toys R Us, and I shall explain that to you now. So I'm the kind of shopper that if I saw somebody shoplifting, I probably would report it to a member of staff. I know that makes me sound like a horrible, tattletale, but really the losses that companies make in, people stealing stock, it's not like companies, shops just decide to eat that loss. That loss will be passed on to honest customers like myself in bumping up the prices. So it's not like I don't support security policies that shops have. It's just you do, like I said, have to exercise it across everybody, because if you don't, then you leave space, like I have here, for me to say, why as a man am I more likely, in your opinion, to be a criminal than a woman? And then following on from that, you could say, why is a black person more likely to steal something than a white person? If you say everybody who comes in here, we take their bag, then you don't create a space for people to think they're being, profiled as something that they're not. And there are two type of kind of shoplifters. There are kind of impulse shoplifters who just see something they like and don't want to pay for it. It dawns on them, they look around, there's no one there to stop them, so they do it. The second kind of shoplifter is professional criminals. There are organizations of criminals, rings. This is how they make their money. They go from store to store stealing stuff. And if you have a weakness in your security policy, these professional criminals will exploit that. I.e., if they know that shops think that, women with handbags won't be stealing stuff, then those professional criminals will send in the women they have with handbags to do exactly that. So ultimately, they're not really saving any money. They're just kind of creating loopholes for criminals to exploit. I've shopped at Toys R Us since the first store opened in 1985. I can remember as a kid, my mum took me and my cousin. Toys R Us opening in the UK was a big deal back then. We've all kind of been kids in toy shops, and the heaven that is. Some of us, like myself and many of you watching this, never really grow out of that. We kind of still continue collecting toys well into adulthood. It's a hobby, it's what we love to do. Some people may, pity us and think it's odd, but it's, how we choose to spend our time and money. And speaking of money, that when that manager shrugged me off as, don't shop here, it's up to you. I've been in the loyalty scheme since late 2004. Prior to that, I lived overseas. I moved to London in late 2004, so I can say I haven't been in the Toys R Us loyalty scheme for any longer than 6 years, that 6-year period from when I moved back to the UK. If you're not familiar with the Toys R Us loyalty scheme, it works like any kind of store loyalty scheme. They give you a card whenever you spend money at Toys R Us. The card is swiped, and for every £1 you spend, one point is added to your card. And twice a year they add up those points, and you receive these reward booklets, as you see on the front of this here. Exclusive £150 reward booklet. I mean, £150 sounds great, but then you have to bear in mind a lot of these vouchers are redundant. I've got to save £20 when you save £2 when you spend £20 or more on Barbie toys. I'm not going to do that. Save £40, save £5, sorry, when you spend £40 on Scalextrics toys. I'm not going to use that. So a lot of these, vouchers are redundant to me. But as you can see here, I have used a voucher there. I'm not sure what that was for, but I have saved a couple of pounds. It's not a huge amount. It's not £150. But it's more the principle of it. I kind of feel like that's Toys R Us thanking me for my custom. And, you know, it's a lot of custom. As you can see here, this is the statement letter you get with that rewards booklet. I'm not sure if you can see it from that top line there, premium card points earned. That's 14,192 points. So since I've had this card, I've spent £14,000. That's a lot converted into dollars for you American guys watching this. That's probably about $25,000. So 14,192 points. Let's say I've been in the scheme for 6 years. I have my trusty calculator. I'm going to break that down. 14,192 points, pounds spent, divided by 6, the number of years I've been in the scheme. That's 2,365. I've spent £2,365 on average in Toys R Us every year for the last 6 years. I'm sure that manager wouldn't be too keen to shrug off a loss of £2,365 a year. That's a lot of money. It's kind of staggering me looking at that now. It's kind of shocking. It soon adds up. And you know, in the kind of harsh economic times we're currently, you know, living in, where companies are competing for our custom, you know, if you're not sorry to lose thousands of pounds from me a year in custom, then, you know, you're just not a wise business to begin with. You know, I'm sure, like, the manager and his staff probably had a good laugh at my expense, you know, how in their opinion I was so angry and kind of overreacting, and you may, watching this, feel that yourself. But, you know, I take it seriously. You know, why should I be abused when I've only ever been a loyal customer, or be discriminated against by you when I've only ever been a loyal customer? This is the remnants of my Toys R Us loyalty card. I have, in my anger, taken a pair of scissors to it, because unfortunately Toys R Us were not here to bend over for me to shove it where the sun don't shine. I'm sorry if I've kind of taken this rant out on you, if it feels that way in watching this, but saying what I've said, it sure has been cathartic, so I thank you for sharing my rant with me. Hopefully in the next video I will have cheered up and been back to my usual Glenn self. I will see you then. Bye.